Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, regular viewers will know, but for those who don't, I spent the better part of my life, 35 years, working in the industry, the construction industry, at various levels, but mainly in accounts, in construction finance, planning, budgets, that sort of thing. I rose. I went from very low all the way up to the very top. And so I know the construction industry. I know what it takes. I know the rules, the regulations, the costs, the bureaucracy, the paperwork, all the BS that has to go with it, especially when you're trying to get planning through. And so I must say now, I'm glad to be out of it because I would hate to go through what's currently going through. But it's been revealed that around half of the country's 2,500 or so what's called SME builders, small and medium enterprise house builders, not your big boys, not your Taylor Wimpey's, not your Redrose, not your Persimmons, and Bellways, things like that. They're probably safe. But the small ones, the little ones, the family firms, the ones that'll build 100 or 200 houses a year, about half of them are expected to have crashed and burned, either got into voluntary liquidation beforehand or been bankrupted beforehand before the end of this parliament. Now, there's going to be a document published tomorrow, and this is, of course, ahead of the spending review on Wednesday. And it makes a very grim reading and a very bleak future for house building in this country. And one of the biggest problems, apart from the rising costs thanks to the taxation problem, is all the regulation. And it's horrendous. The planning regs, the building regs, the way that houses have to be. No one outside of anyone who's going to basically self-build is going to have a house that's any use to them. They're all going to be basically prefab square hamster boxes. Now, WPI Strategy and Chamberlain Walker are two economic consultancy firms specialising in both housing on one and planning for the other. And they cast this grim shadow of foreboding over the government's plans. Now, of course, if you're going to lose all these house builders, how on earth does Angela Rayner hope to build her 1.5 million houses? Because there aren't going to be any house builders left. It's a joke. Now, with all the technological advances in the world, you still need men on sites building. You still have to have people coming out and inspecting and so forth. But this government seems to think, we will change everything and it will be AI. But AI doesn't build houses. AI may help you design a house. It may help you put a series of houses onto a square bit of land or an odd-shaped bit of land in the most efficient way. But it can't actually build them for you. And this government seems to think it can. It seems to think AI is this magic bullet. But it isn't. Hard work is the magic bullet. And of course, tradies are getting rooked left, right and centre. A lot of them are actually moving abroad. I know tradesmen who are moving onto the continent or to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, simply because they can ply their trade there far easier and with less regulation than here. Now, the Future Home Standard, which is this government consultancy in the standard, this is what houses have to be built to. It has to be built to this code of energy efficiency, this code of safety, this code of this code of that, this code. And there's so many codes. And some of the codes make it almost impossible to build a house that you can sell for a profit, because the cost of putting all these codes in is so high that when your companies go to put on their profit, which they have to put on, otherwise nobody's going to build a house, The houses themselves then become so expensive, nobody can afford to build them, to buy them. And we're talking even small, 2 up, 2 down, mid-terrace stuff is built to such a high, expensive standard that nobody will buy them. And if that's the case, companies aren't going to invest money into a house and get no return. It would be better for them to not lock the money up in a house that won't sell, but just stick it in the bank, throw it into the stock market. And that's what's going to happen. And so these diverse house builders all across the country, each building different styles, different types, different models to different standards, and it's all gone. They'll all go. And eventually you'll just have the big 4 house builders all building homogenous little hamster huts just to please the planners. And they're all going to be shit, and the people will live in them, and the people will be disheartened as they don't have ground, they don't have gardens, they don't have curtilage. They've all got the same, and it's bland, bland, bland. Meanwhile, houses that are older, that do have curtilage, they've got gardens, they've got extensive gardens sometimes, they'll become very, very valuable. They'll become very desirable. And they'll become very expensive. There's going to be a housing crisis in this country caused by this government and its mad attendance to net zero and to control of everything, as well as having an idiot running the economy. It's the death knell to the construction industry. And when the construction industry dies, the country dies. Make no bones about it. The construction industry is one of the biggest, most important employers in this country. And this government are destroying it, and I think deliberately, because they want to destroy this country deliberately. But yeah, you know, all you Labour voters, are you enjoying it? Is this what you voted for? I don't think so. Well, I'm out of the game now. Thank God I've retired. I'm not there. But anyone who's still in, you've got to start thinking about moving abroad. Thanks a lot. Bye.